A new Delmarva treasure has joined the herd. Keep an eye open for this precious colt trotting along Assateague Island.
Photographer Kevin Lynam posted these photos to Facebook yesterday. We're happy to have Kevin join us today via Zoom. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, Kevin, how you doing?
Good afternoon, Lisa and Steve. Thanks for your time. Hope you're all doing well.
Doing great.
So, Kevin, this is another example of being in the right place and the right time for your recent photos, huh?
Absolutely. That's a big part of photography, Steve, is just knowing where to stand and when to stand there.
And to click the picture, too.
Yeah. They're absolutely gorgeous pictures. What do you know about this colt?
So this particular colt is actually the fourth male stallion born to Susie Soleil. She is a mare that is one of the bands that kind of hovers around the campground areas. So she just last year had a stallion named Maximus, and this particular horse was born on Monday evening or early Tuesday morning. And generally, when you get to see these newborn foals up close, it just takes your breath away. You know, seeing newborn wildlife in the spring, it's kind of a season of change and a season of new life. So every time I have a chance to, interact with some of the new wildlife at Assateague, it's always a blessing and a privilege.
It's got to be one of those surreal moments where you're almost feel like you're intruding on this mother and child relationship.
You know, Steve, you bring up a great point. When a newborn foal is born, obviously, those first several weeks, they're connecting with their mother, right? They're learning to feed off their mother. They're also learning to graze because that almost starts immediately as well. But it's one of those things when I go to the island, I'm often using a very large lens. I use a camera lens
Wow.
that can capture, a picture from oftentimes up to a football field away. And, these super telephoto lenses allow us to look like we're right there, but oftentimes we're standing at great distances. In fact, the national and federal law at Assateague Island, you have to be 40 feet away from these horses at all times. But with the mare, Steve, and the newborn foals, it's imperative to kind of give them their space the first few weeks, let them, nurture and nurse off their mothers, get familiar with the, tough and harsh environment on Assateague Island. But it is a time of joy. It's also one that, it brings a lot of people into the park every time there's newborn foals. So
Sure.
You bring up a great point. It is absolutely an intrusion, and it's one that needs to be done with, wildlife etiquette in mind. And, anytime you interact with wildlife, you need to respect their space. And one of the things I've always prided myself on is, being able to capture those raw and intimate moments within nature. Like I had a lot of people telling me they thought that these horses signed up for a portrait session, the way that they posed in a lot of the pictures. And, that is part of, knowing timing. When I look at a composition or taking a photograph, the rule of thirds, it basically takes that rectangular picture and you split it up into 9 separate little rectangles. And more or less the rule of thirds, you want to tell a story in every one of those 9 boxes.
Interesting.
So I'll look for ways to just kind of fill up the whole frame and capture action moments. Like I love in some of the photographs how Susie's, mane is kind of blowing in the wind. So I have to use a little bit faster shutter to, freeze those action moments. And it's similar with like sports photography or any action related items. You need a very fast camera shutter to freeze that millisecond of time.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to bring up another photo session you recently had. And while it wasn't on Delmarva, it had to be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And this, of course, is the photo you took of a black bear.
Absolutely. So one of the things that I'll tell you, I love nature. And, it's one of those things where I find beauty in all forms of nature, it's something that's brought me great joy in my life. The black bear is actually something that I captured on camera down in the Outer Banks of North Carolina. I often tell people if you're looking to get out of town for a week or two, You know, I love the Outer Banks because to me it has that more remote, more desolate, isolated kind of beach experience. And, you know, I would say around here it's the equivalents of like Broadkill Beach or like Slaughter Beach. They're more remote, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was at the Alligator Wildlife Refuge in, you know, North Carolina, and that black bear just after dusk had kind of come moseying along this field, and this bear was every bit of 600 to 700
Oh my
pounds,
goodness.
and it's just, you know, when you see these moments with your own eyes, really, like, oftentimes I have to just stop and take it in for a few moments myself before I get to work with the camera, because it's just, they're very natural and meaningful moments, you know. And you know, that bear, to him, he was just enjoying his day and moseying along. But again, just right place, right time. And with wildlife, you know, oftentimes at dawn and dusk is when you're going to really see, you know, wildlife being the most active, which was the case with that black bear.
So how can folks see your work?
So right now, gallery wise, I'm in the Rehoboth Art League Gallery. You can also see my work at 26 Ocean Gallery on Wilmington Avenue. And then I have a website, you know, kevinlynamphotography.com, and also my Facebook page. I think from an imagery perspective, Facebook and Instagram are going to be the image archives that I keep the most up to date. But anybody who's interested in photography and just has a love of nature, I often do photo walks free of charge. If you're interested, you know, people can absolutely reach out to me. I enjoy photography, and, you know, most importantly, I enjoy just being out in nature. You know, that's what moves my heart and soul.
That's wonderful, and we enjoy your photography, and thank you for letting us showcase it. Kevin Lynam, thank you for joining us.
Thank
this
you,
afternoon.
Lisa.
All
Have
right.
a good day, Steve.
You too.
Thank you
Thanks.
both.